Murdorf and the Mortal Flaw, Book 1, Chapter 29, Ormandel. No one was in a big hurry to get to the breakfast table, and not because they weren't hungry. Rather, no one was in a rush to leave the beautiful land. At the table, Navi sat across from Aquila. He found her glamorous, her blonde hair alluring. Occasionally, he made flirtatious gestures at her, a wink here and a smile there. She ignored him entirely. There was little conversation around the table. Even so, King Justice seemed unmoved by the disappointed riders. He was gracious in every way. King Justice had his servants provide them with ample provisions for their expedition back home. With long faces, the riders prepared to leave. He sent them all away with a gift. He gave Mongard a warm coat, Vandorf a new satchel, Nadora a bag of rare healing herbs, endemic of Shy Kadesh, and Windsor a leather satchel perfect for holding his scrolls. "Oh, and give this to Navi," said the king, handing Windsor a pink hat to replace the burnt-out one. He then handed him a purple one, but asked Windsor to give him the pink one first, warning him not to give him the purple one too quickly. The immortal king had a sense of humor, too. Windsor laughed, appreciating the king's humor. "Windsor, you did right by leaving the sword in Shalahim. Know that upon your return to Shalahim, the strength of your leadership will become essential to this group. When they grow weary, remain steadfast." As Windsor approached the group, he tossed Navi the new pink hat. Navi curled his lip, but then laughed out loud, knowing the king was up to no good. In good humor, he put it on and waved to King Justice, offering a laugh. "I'll wear it proudly," yelled Navi jokingly. Mongard, Vandorf, and Nadora waved, grateful for the king's kindness. Cosby felt the king was trying to buy them with gifts. He despised the king, resenting his land, his position, his wealth, and his cowardliness. He tossed the gift in his satchel and tried to pretend like he didn't like it, even though he wondered how the king knew he was a talented painter. He had long ago abandoned the craft upon the criticism of a person he respected. Since then, he adopted the belief that painting was for sissies. As they were preparing to mount, they spotted a man in the distance walking towards them. It was the sketchy outline of a familiar-looking man wearing chainmail and bearing a sword. There was a scar across the left side of his face. Taking stock of the old chap, Windsor said, "Well, that man is a spitting image of Ormandel." "Windsor, you have room for one more?" said the man. "Ormandel?" Windsor asked. "It can't be." "Well, why can't it be?" asked Ormandel. "Because you're supposed to be dead, crony," Navi exclaimed. Navi didn't know Ormandel, but he had heard the tales about him. Ormandel was as stunned by the pink strands in Navi's hair as he was by the news. "I saw Darvan take you captive," added Windsor, "and no one has seen you since." "We had your bloody funeral. I even bought you some flowers," Windsor confessed. "Flowers?" The man was finding this quite amusing. "You had my funeral?" asked Ormandel. "Yep, sure did," Navi replied. "You know, they didn't have your body, so we had one of those, what do you call it?" "Memorial services," answered Skinner. "Who are you?" Ormandel asked, eyeballing Navi. "I'm Navi, pleased to meet you. Heard tales about you." Navi stuck out his hand to shake it, but Ormandel just looked at his pink hat. "Tales, huh? Well, don't believe everything you hear," replied Ormandel. "It was a beautiful service," Vandorf said. Gilgor rolled his eyes at Vandorf being so sentimental. "Why, I hardly know what to say. I'm glad I couldn't make it," said Ormandel. "Oh, they set up a stone for you. It's really nice. Maybe we can stop and let you see it," Gilmanza said. Ormandel was now speechless at the thought of his own tombstone, let alone the thought of them having had a funeral for him. "Do you always wear a pink hat?" asked Ormandel. The riders laughed, Mongard trying hard not to laugh too hard. It was one of his best pranks thus far, one that he was most proud of. "You don't like it," Navi said, not bothering to explain that he had been the butt end of a joke. He figured Ormandel would learn the truth eventually. Windsor broke the silence. "How did you get out of Quadar?" "King Justice. Been here ever since," said Ormandel. Why didn't you let us know that you were still alive? Windsor asked. Well, it's complicated. When I awoke, I was here in Shy Kadesh. I didn't remember anything for a long time. When things began to come to me, well, like I said, it's complicated. So what are your plans? Windsor asked. Well, I was hoping I could join you, Ormandel said. Well, all you need is a beast to ride, mate, Windsor replied. Windsor had said no one else was going to join them, but this was both unpredictable and exceptional. Searching for confirmation, Windsor looked up at the immortal king. With the nod of the king's head, Windsor welcomed Ormandel. But I'm not real sure what we're going to be doing now. I mean, we don't really have a mission at the moment, Gamanza said. We can go back and get that bloody sword and bring it to him and let him deal with it, Zorgar said. After cutting his eyes at Zorgar and trying to defuse the situation, Windsor spoke to Ormandel. Grab a mount and join us. King Chess will be shocked to death to see you. A servant brought a well-bred stiletto from the king's stable, and Ormandel mounted the beast. As they rode out of the kingdom, the riders were slowly admiring the exquisite beauty of the land and taking in it all, as though trying to etch the whole experience into their minds. They rode back through the forest of redwoods, across the living bridge, and down the glittery pathway, riding across the verdant land, garnished with exquisite flowers. The riders paused at the top of a hill and looked back at the landscape, the trees, the vines, the flowers, the sparkling riverbeds, the trails, and the guardian falls against the backdrop of the sunrise of the mountains. It was the most beautiful land they had ever beheld. They lingered, soaking it in, wishing they didn't have to leave. This place feels familiar to me, said Amaze. Yes, I know what you mean, responded Windsor. Windsor, can we stay? Asked Amaze. No, son, we're exiles, answered the prophet. With great reluctance, the riders rode out of the walled city and into the cold, snowy mountains. Mongard was thankful for the warm coat, wrapping it tightly around himself, and Gilgor was thankful for the new boots as his big feet sank into the deep snow. They were cold now, in more ways than one.